Thank you for joining us and welcome to Marriage Gone Divorce. We'll be starting in just a few, so get your favorite drink, your snacks, and by all means, subscribe, share, and like. See you in a few.
I wanna run like I'm 18, but when I start up, I'm making my colors fading a little bit. I feel tired more than I ever did. I keep trying to find what I left behind.
Well, hi there. Greetings, everyone. How are you this wonderful Thursday? Whee! How y'all doing? How y'all doing? So we're gonna give a few moments as those are we didn't do a big push this week, and we weren't here last week live. We did we reposted, but we want to make sure we give you guys, we still are trying to work on this lighting and get everything right. And it is still trying to give us, there we go, the blues. All right, that's a little better there. There we go. Is that it? Is that it, y'all? All right. So we want to say welcome, as we are allowing people the time, as YouTube is going out and alerting those that we are live. And hopefully some of you guys have selected the notify button, and it will notify you that you're live. I'm going to put up, let's send out a message that we are live, and we're going to get started real soon. Put in the chat where you're checking in from, if you don't mind, what city. If this is your first time viewing with us, your first time being with us, put it in the chat and let us know as we get started on Marriage Gone Divorce. We're just going to have some conversation and talk about some things we've been hearing and kind of going back over some of the things we've talked about over the weeks, and just having a dialogue, just a check-in to see how y'all doing. My Zoe over here, my dog, is whining. I'm not quite sure why, but she whining because she want my attention. All righty. As we are getting ready to go ahead and get started, I'm going to say take a few deep breaths with me. You know, that helps center us and help us release what has gone on in the day, the week, up to this point. And so we're going to ask you to take a deep inhale, hold, and on the count of 4, exhale through the mouth. 2, 3, 4, and exhale. Yes, and kind of rock yourself back and forth. Kind of stretch out your back. Release your, that feels good. Your shoulders. Come on, do another inhale. And on the count of 4, exhale through the mouth. It is that breath that reminds us whom's and who we are. We are created in the very image and after the likeness of the creator of all life. I'm distinctly different than you, and you are distinctly different than me, but we're all created in the image with the divine purpose here on planet Earth. Oh my goodness. That's how big, bad, and bold the creator, our God, is. Come on, take another deep inhale. And 2, 3, 4, exhale through the mouth. Yes. And rock it out. Rock it out. Rock it out. That feels good. I needed that. Ooh. Yeah, you should be feeling that stretch in your back, up your spine, your shoulders, your neck. This is good to do to kind of release the tension of the day, of the moment when you've been working on the computer in traffic, getting out of traffic. Just, loosen up. I have my other background up, and you guys can see that it's kind of, and I don't know how to move it right now. I don't have my my youngin with me to fix that. Oh, wait a minute. This is where I do it. I'm going to do it right here because right now, I don't like the way that background. There we go. That's better. There we go. That's a little better. All righty. Okay. It is our breath that reminds us that we are family, no matter how different we are. That calls us human beings in this earth, having a spiritual We're spiritual beings in a human body having an experience on earth as the very essence of God, the creator of all life. And so I saw something that kind of interests me. Oftentimes we say quotes and we say things, right? And it sounds good, and one of the quotes, and I'm paraphrasing it, it talked about how nobody owes you anything. And face value, that's correct. However, when you talk about mere, pure, common courtesy as a human being, respect as a human being to another human being, everybody on this planet is owed that. We are commissioned, we are commanded by the creator of the universe to be kind. That's one of to be loving, to be caring. That's just called being a human being, being considerate. So that is not all truth. That's not all truth. As the creator of all life has given us breath, and he has called us sons and daughters and created us to be families, we owe it to each other to respect one another. And sometimes I get lost in relationships because of expectations, false expectations. And that's some of the things that we've been talking about here on Marriage Gone Wild. So tonight, I have a special guest with me, and we're just going to have a conversation. We was talking earlier today, and she had mentioned something to me to the effect of, well, I'm going to bring her on. She was on the show before. I'm going to bring her on. And then we're going to talk about some things, and we're going to ask you to chime in, put in the chat. If you are here for the first time, give us your name. Let us know what you think about what we're talking about. So at this time, we're going to welcome Roz to the stage. Rosalind, hi there, lady. How are you?
I'm good.
How you doing? Good. Welcome again to Marriage Gone Divorce. I keep saying Marriage Gone Wild. I guess it is wildly divorced. So welcome. I want to thank you. She was Roz is one of the young ladies that was on the very first. She came to the birthday celebration where we did our first taping. But this morning, listen, we was having a conversation. You called me and you said something to the effect. Hopefully you remember. You got that look on your face where the gentleman. I think the gentleman said something about how we pick and how we choose partners.
The tomato. I remember.
Yeah. How did that go? How did that question?
We choosing a mate. I heard someone say that choosing a mate is the most important thing that you'll ever do in your lifetime. And I said that we choose a mate like we choose a tomato. And you came back with, we choose a tomato better
than we choose a mate. Okay, because we will put a rotten tomato back. If it ain't ready, if it's too soft, if it's too hard, and if you don't like tomatoes, like I'm not real fond of tomatoes, I eat them because they're healthy for you, you won't even pick it up. No.
Right? If it looks a certain way, you'll pass it by.
We will pass it by, and that's, that was interesting because it opened up, the conversation, and we began to talk about, we started talking about how, red flags or how we make our choices, how we go about making choices. And I remember in several of the episodes in talking to the different ladies that we've talked to, they said, that was never a thought in terms of red flags or choosing from a place of desire. We choose usually because something feels good in the moment, right?
Yeah, or else we wouldn't have stuck around. Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you think, as we have grown and gone and moved on and finding space to heal and to let go, how do we know? One of the conversations we talked about how we know when we're in that space of healing and letting go and what that may look like. And it's different for everybody, but there's some points in it all where we all can recognize the shift and change in ourselves. What do you say to that, Rosalind? What do you say to the process of healing and getting to the other side of loving self again?
It is a process, and you have to be conscious of where you want to go, how you want to end up. And then I don't know that we really have a map depending on like where we are when we're getting out of that process. We may be financially in a position where not a whole lot changes, and then we could be in a situation where everything in your life changes. So you might end up taking care of life and kind of not even really paying attention to taking care of self.
That's good.
Feel may come secondary. It could be many years. I just had a friend recently. She's just now, after being divorced over 15 years, getting to the point where she's seeing the reality of everything, because she's just trudging along, and didn't really pay attention to how she felt, how she was feeling about it. And so now she's kind of almost like she just finished the divorce recent.
That's good. That's actually, you know what? I had posted on Instagram today how we getting out of the mode of surviving and now learning to live. And you're right, when we don't deal with the feelings and the emotions around the divorce, whether you filed, the other person filed, you agreed to file together, but if you don't deal with that and you stay on that treadmill, and then of you just doing this moving, next thing, keeping yourself active and busy so you don't have to feel, right, it's going to hit you. That's grief. That's that grieving process.
Right.
You have to deal with it. Right. That's interesting. That's very interesting. How long do you think you personally did it after yours in terms of really starting to deal with yourself?
I'm probably just doing it now. I'm probably just doing it now. And it's been since what? It's been about 15 years.
It's been 15 years for you too. That's interesting.
Yeah.
I think that 15-year mark, it's okay. You can move your phone if you need to get to your phone. You need to check your phone.
It's like that thing appeared, like somebody was coming up to you.
That's why I moved. I was like, look like it's a snake in my face. No, Zoe.
All of a sudden, something came after you.
That 15-year mark is interesting because I just had an experience this week where I realized in a grieving process, because grief is grief, and we sometimes categorize, grief as different, like when a parent passes, when a lover passes, or when a child passes. I'm sure that pain, especially with the child, I can only imagine that pain is painful. But grief in terms of the process, I just realized this week it has been 15 years since my mother passed, and I have been carrying that cloud over me of sadness. And it literally just lifted about 2 days ago. And when I was able to have, that's why those of us who coach and counsel need to have a coach and a counselor, because they can identify, you can see in others sometimes what you can't see in yourself. You can help and support others, and you sometimes can't do that for yourself. And so I had one of my mentors and a counselor / coach able to identify and share some things with me. And it's like something inside of me not just broke, it just freed me up, because I was aware of it. I could feel it. I could feel that it, like I was walking in this covering. Like I compared it to the other morning. I compared it to who was that in Charlie Brown that had the cloud walking everywhere that went the cloud
was. Oh God,
was it Linus?
I cannot. It might have been. I cannot remember his name, but he walked around with a blanket.
Yeah, just everywhere he goes. And I realized that that's what I have been doing. And even as it pertains to, I think the biggest thing when I tell you that freed me up in a way that I don't have to live in that particular space anymore, it's been refreshing. Like I got a boost of energy.
You got
Um,
conscious to it, is what it
yes,
shifted. Yeah.
yes, got and was able to embrace it. Because sometimes we can be aware, right? But we're not ready to deal with it and embrace it.
Mhm.
We feel like there's a certain amount of a guilt or shame behind it, or we're going to lose a part of them, and or and I think that comparing that to a divorce, I think it sometimes happens that way with in divorce too, um, if we're not careful.
Mhm.
Um,
True.
if we're not careful, if we don't, like your friend that stayed on the merry-go-round of going and moving and doing, um, um, going, moving and doing that, we don't get to take that time for ourselves. And so what we're going to do right now is we're going to allow for a quick little break. um Arazin, I think, has to go. That's okay. We're going to go ahead and let you do it, and you come back when you're ready, okay? All righty. So with that stated, it's very similar in the realm of divorce, in terms of when you don't give yourself that opportunity to forgive. The day I forgave God, I've been able to go back and read that in this book, this one right here, The Day I Forgave God. And I've also really been hanging out in Not This Time. Not This Time. And I get an opportunity. We really deal with when you're in a trauma, a state of being, meaning that you haven't allowed yourself an opportunity to feel. Feelings change, but you don't want to get stuck in the feeling. But you have to allow yourself that space to heal. And so that's what this Marriage Gone Divorce is all about. We wanted to give you guys an opportunity. You've had a few weeks now to look at our episodes, and to kind of digest some of the things that have been shared from the women. We got some men that's going to be coming to the platform on the next go round. And we have we're speaking to a relationship coach and doctor that's going to be coming on and sharing and talking with us in some upcoming episodes after the holidays, next week, that is, after next week. And so that should be really good to kind of expand and grow, because this is about growing, healing, and not being stuck. How do you know when you have truly let go? How do you know when you've gotten to that place of peace, of calmness, of harmony within self? How do you know when you are not just in life, numbing self out? I think we numb ourselves out with different things, and so many things we can numb ourselves out with. Social media is one of them.
Yeah,
Right?
that's true. You're right.
Yeah. It can be very, 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 very overwhelming. Very
Yeah.
overwhelming. So, Roz, what are some of the other things we have some really, this is just supposed to be like a conversation we on the phone. So what are some of the other things we have talked, we get in those deep conversations, talking about relationships, talking about how we choose, talking about how we know that when we've let go, and what that is, what is letting go? What does that even mean? Because we say a lot of stuff. That's what I do know. There are a lot of quotes and a lot of stuff that in the moment sound real good. But what in the whole ham and cheese does all that mess mean?
What does letting go mean? Yeah.
What does it mean? How do you let go? Let go of what?
I've heard recently, and I guess this is kind of work for me, was you replace the thing with another thing. So
Mm,
you were like, I can remember a time feeling really sad when I first moved back to California, and I was going through the whole process of the the divorce was over, but the relationship kind of was still lingering. And I replaced it with being busy doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of shifted from where I was to being in school, starting multiple classes all at one time, raising my son, taking him to different practices, watching games, working, keeping myself busy. And I think eventually I just forgot all about it. I didn't think about it anymore. I didn't think about the fact that I wasn't married, that I was married before and I'm no longer married. I just didn't even think about it anymore.
But had you really dealt with the pain of it? Because you just said a few moments ago it wasn't. You don't think you
Right.
started dealing with it until
Right.
until now,
Right.
really dealing.
Like taking care of myself,
Yes.
I think now more about, everything that it pertains to me, because my son just moved out recently. So that's still a new part of my life, just being able to have only time for me. Because for so long, everything I did included him. And now it doesn't have to anymore. So that's probably the other reason why I've started to really kind of focus in on me, on different parts that I want to take care of in my own personal self.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, I don't know, I guess I kind of let it go to a certain degree.
Mm-hmm.
I let a lot of things just kind of, I just got busy and didn't take care of everything I could have.
So busy is good, right? But
Yeah.
busy is good because it does help you to get through some difficult times, and you're not sulking. You know, it's not sulking and whatnot. And no, it's not sulking. So the question is it okay to have the nude picture? It's really not a nude picture.
I just realized it's a draft, but
Yeah,
it was not looking like that.
It's not a new picture, and the audience is 18 and above, but it's not
Okay.
a new picture. It's actually a rendition. Isaac did this a picture, and he calls that Mother Nature. He calls it. And so in one hand, she has Mother Earth, and then the other hand, my Zoe. If you don't get over there, Zoe, what is wrong with her tonight?
She wants to be a part of the show.
Okay, I'm like, what is really going on? And then the other hand, she's holding the moon, and then on her head there, she's blossoming, and so that's the different. Yeah,
I couldn't
So
see
that's
all of that.
So that's one of his first. It's not his favorite, but it's one of my favorites because of the detailing. Like he has the. It's actually not even a dress. It's the nerve. It's what do you call it? Like the nerve endings, the vessels, the veins. So it's the details, and so he has this way of. He has some pieces that he's done. This off the chain, but he calls her Mother Earth because from her, you get everything grows. So she's the root, that's the trunk, right? And then everything grows from her.
Okay, I got that.
I'm glad you asked. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, that's one of the reasons I don't normally have that if it's just, my background, I have it that way. But when it's in this, I use the other one. But I have to find another way to do the background so that I don't like that movement yet. Where I'm kind of vanishing out of it, or if I go to move my hand, I have to fix it. They say I need a green screen. Anyway, we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah. But so back to when we know. I think it's, really as we take care of ourselves. And I think we're in that season in history. I think we're in that season, from an astrological standpoint. When we talk about Pluto and Aquarius and the change in the planets, I think we're in that season. We're in a new political climate, but we've been in a political climate for a while. I would venture to say go back as to the pandemic. I would go back to Obama, but we'll just go back to the pandemic when the world shut down. We was in a reset mode, and I think that it gave those that were in relationship and marriage, living under the same roof, who were just passing by, passing each other, they discovered that they didn't really like each other. That's why they were just passing, always on the go,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then others it gave the opportunity to reacquaint, right? And remember why they married. Remember why they love the person. Remember that a family was more important than anything. So I really think is I would say I think the time that we're in gives us the opportunity, or we're in an opportunity to really reset what marriage is for us, taking care of ourselves, slowing down, not ignoring. We ignore a lot.
We do. Yeah, we do.
We
Yeah.
second guessing.
So you say that, and I think back, I think we go back further than that. We had a situation that changed our whole world when Bush was in office. 9/11 was deep.
That's real.
I remember we could not hear airplanes because they'd
That's
stopped flying
You're
for
right.
a couple days.
You're absolutely correct.
That was a reset in itself. We were
Mhm.
attacked and knocked down several buildings.
Mhm.
That was the wildest experience that day. I will never. We forgot.
We'll never forget that. We and
never
that's what
forget
we
that
do. Isn't that what we do? We have a
Yeah.
moment of kumbaya. The world
We
comes
forgot
together.
what happened in 2020 already.
Yeah, we forget about it, and we get back. We in road rage. I had we was just this week a gentleman I was backing out, and he was just angered. You don't see me, da, da, da. And I was like, well, no, I didn't see you. I mean, I
Right.
apologize, but I would think I'm the moving car.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
She's getting up here. She doesn't want to. Look. Hi, everybody.
Hi,
That's
Zoe.
Zoe.
What's going on, Zoe?
Oh my God, this child right here.
wanted
And you're
you.
absolutely correct. We forget.
That was a huge deal. That was traumatizing. I could remember hearing noises, thinking it was an airplane after that. Every time I would hear a noise, I would be looking around to see if an airplane was flying into a building. That was traumatizing. And we just skirted right on past it,
Yeah.
That thing was deep.
It was. You're
And then
absolutely correct.
we went from that to we've had several catastrophes in recent years. And what was it, 2001 when that happened?
That was 2009-11. Yeah, it was 2001.
9/11
was
was
2001. Sure
2001.
was.
And then we went into the catastrophe of the financial crisis. And people
2008.
experienced that in different ways. We've had several things go on, and we just keep on moving. Watching our movies, watching our football, baseball, basketball games.
Isn't that something? So wonder what is it going to really take for us to truly shift? This is in the context of let go. What is it going to really take for us to really get to that place of letting go of what we are used to doing, the same old thing, the same way, and we'll pull away from it for a little while, and then we'll revert back to the same old habits. Yeah, that's not healthy. It's not healthy for ourselves. It's not healthy for our families. It's not healthy for our relationships. It's not healthy for nothing. We just keep going around, and we keep getting. That's pretty good, Roz, because and each event is intensifying.
Right. So my aunt, before she passed away, she mentioned another. I said when we were going through the experiences that we were going to, and I said, "Have we ever had anything?" Because I forgot, and she said, "Yeah. Well, when they shot our president, they shot our president."
Right.
They killed a president.
Oh, you remember the Kennedys?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That's what that's what she said. We forget that happened. That was a big deal.
Yeah, and it was all around
The same stuff we're going through now.
That's pretty deep.
Life repeats.
That's pretty
We
deep.
repeat ourselves.
When we don't get the lesson.
History repeats
it
itself.
repeats it. So what's the lesson?
I don't know. There's a lot of lessons in paying attention to when we get those resets. I thought about being thankful today that I am here, because I was in a car accident at 12, which could have taken me off this earth. And I'm here. I just raised my son. I was in a marriage. I left the marriage. I survived it. The lesson is we need to live our lives fully and let that stuff that holds us back, it's not important. It really isn't. In the scheme of things, it's not important. Mm-hmm. We live a life a lot better than some of these other countries do. Mm-hmm. And we get caught up in how we feel. My feelings. Get in our feelings instead of getting committed to things. Staying committed to it, knowing what we need to stay committed to. We can commit to feeling a certain way. We don't have to feel sad about something. We can commit to feeling good.
I like that. There it is.
Get out of our feelings with what we are committed to.
Versus what we are
committed to.
Getting out of our, that's good. That's real good. And that's real talk, because our feelings change, honey.
Every second. We might feel a whole different way in 5 minutes.
Child, let me tell you, because before I got on tonight, my feeling was I really could just go to bed. No.
I thought about myself. I did. I really did. I started to lay down, and I said, if I lay down, I may not wake back up. So I'm just going to go and sit and do something.
Mm-hmm. I've had a day today. Yes, exactly. So they change. And that's the same thing with, in our marriages. That's why this is not a broadcast about advocating for divorce. It is a broadcast. It is a show, a podcast about being authentic and with self and learning who you are and what are your deal breakers. What is, and not even just what are your deal breakers. You don't have to worry about what a deal breaker is if you know what it is you desire and you're truthful about it, right? The deal breaker take care of itself. Right. If I know what my standards are and I'm true to myself, I know what my strengths are and I know what my weaknesses are, because we all have them. And if I can share those in a healthy way with my partner, remember back in the dialogue we had the 22 when we back in Georgia, we had the what do we call it, the something of, I had to pull it up, of relationships. And one of the things that we said back then was relationships brings our stuff up and out. It will heal. It's either, remember we said it's going to bring, children going to bring it out, and relationships will too. And so either we're going to heal, we're going to heal or wish we had. No, I'm just
right.
Well, okay, we're going to heal or wish we had. So
it's
really
true.
Just getting telling the truth with ourselves and being, I think when we can tell the truth, I think the other part of it, Roz, I think that we have not been able to tell the truth to ourselves. We don't tell the truth when because as we grow, we change, we transform, and so our desires and what our needs are may change. And
Right.
so if you're not, if you're so busy and unpresent to that, how can you tell someone else someone else what that is? And
He
you haven't
wants you bad.
she does. She is acting up tonight. And and you don't know what it is that you want. So that's good. I like that. Get out of our feelings because they will
Get
change.
out of our feelings. Yes.
And don't take everything personal.
You read that book? What's it called? The Four Agreements. That's one of the agreements.
Mhm,
Don't take anything that anyone says to you personal,
mhm,
because it's just something that they said.
mhm,
You don't have to make it mean anything.
mhm. It's hard to do when it's personal, but
It's their opinion. We have to learn that part, though. It's just their opinion. That's what
it's
they
their opinion. But you know, they used to say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words were never heard. That's a
Right.
bold-faced lie.
Right. I was walking the other day, and this man says to me, he says, "All right, Angela Davis."
That's a compliment. That's a compliment.
Okay, I was like, okay, I'm with it. All right, thank you.
Okay, that's a compliment.
I didn't
Thank you
wake up
very
that
much.
morning thinking I was looking like Angela Davis, though.
Gotcha. But
Yeah.
that is not an
Yeah.
insult, sir. Thank you. That was a
Thank
strong
you.
Black woman,
Right.
strong
I'm glad
queen,
to
right?
represent.
But yeah,
I
thank
am
you
glad
very
to
much.
represent.
But yeah, it's not always easy to do when it's personal, or yeah, when you even when we're looking for validation from someone else. We do a lot of things looking for validation and approval, and
Yes.
when we don't get that validation and approval, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but we can't expect validation and approval for someone else all the time. It's good to get it, but
Right. So when I was younger in relationships, I was not as verbal expressing what I wanted.
mhm,
And I kind of accepted things that I probably shouldn't have accepted. And I was recently on the phone with a friend of mine that I used to date over 20 years ago. And I got triggered, and I remembered how he used to communicate with me back then. And I went off on him on the telephone. Because I didn't have the verbal skills back then to stop him, because he was older than me. And there was probably a certain amount of, you know better, but then I didn't speak up. So getting our voices don't always come. We don't always come into our marriages with our voice. So I didn't think about having my voice and like not wanting to shut up. You can't shut me down. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I want to say, whether you like it or not. I didn't always have that voice, especially when I was younger. I didn't. So I was talking to him. Then I decided that we were going to get off of a conversation, and I was like ready for it to end. And he said, "Well, if you don't want to you don't want to listen to me, hear what I have to say, then let's get off the phone." I was like, "Okay, bye." There was a time where I would not have done that. I would have felt like, oh, I don't want to lose this person. It's this relationship. And I could feel myself having in my marriage, not wanting to rock the boat in a conversation and voice how I truly felt.
And ultimately, what happens? I was looking at something I wrote, and ultimately, resentments. When we start having resentments at the core of our marriages, it will eventually destroy the marriage.
Yeah.
Resentments will. So if we feel like we're unable to truly express ourselves or we're unheard, um, taken advantage of, either party, whoever it is. And most times what ends up happening is because we mirror each other, right? Because I
Right.
think it's always amazing to hear what the other party has to say. And you're like, well, no, that's what you do. But
Right.
when you step back, when you step back from it, we really are mirroring each other, which is pretty deep. Why we draw people to ourselves, right?
Right.
You
So
hear me?
we're drawn. So if we came in as functioning people, whatever that looks like, or whatever that did look like as a couple, maybe we wouldn't be mirroring these things that we can't stand about each other. Maybe we would be mirroring things that are more positive that wouldn't be driving us nuts. I remember us being in a game. We used to do something called Love Power, which was real similar to when we did Dialogue. I did it with
Mhm,
Tina, and we had a lot of couples.
mhm,
And we had like a newlywed game thing.
mhm,
We got every answer correct. So we knew each other,
mhm.
but we just would, I don't know. I don't know what that is. When you know some, I mean, it was amazing to me that we got them all right. When how the newlywed game was, that
Mhm,
old
mhm,
show.
mhm, mhm, mhm.
We knew each other. We knew each other well, but we couldn't get it together to not be in conflict with each other all the time.
Well, it's probably because of that. It's something, you can be friends. It's amazing how you can be good friends with someone, and then you say I do, and all of a sudden, the expectations change.
Mm, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You
yeah,
have a different expectation from your marriage or your marital partner than you do from your friend. I have been, and you think about this, you may be a lot more accommodating with your girlfriends than
hell
you will
yeah,
with your husband.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's true. That
And
is
but
true.
then you have to, you know what I'm saying? When you
Yeah,
think about that with but our mates is like, well, no.
right, right.
And I think that's a part of it too. I don't know. Someone told me that your mate is not your friend, and I always said that that was my friend. And then when I got to thinking about it, if you put it in the context of some of the things that we've talked about, that it's a contract, it's an agreement, it's a
Hmm.
and all those
Hmm.
things. And
Hmm.
if you go into it like that, although you have certain respects and boundaries with friendships, but when you go into it in that realm of things, you start commingling money and you know all that other stuff. It shifts and change now how you're functioning and operating, because we have a different expectation when we start talking about things like that.
That
It
we
becomes.
didn't talk about before we got into the marriage.
Mhm,
Like there's probably a whole lot of things that we probably should have, that were major things that should have been discussed,
mhm,
that we just didn't have the verbal skills to discuss. I
mhm,
didn't.
mhm.
It's like,
So, Rosalind, you go ahead. You said you didn't have the verbal skills to discuss, and it was
no,
like
I
what?
didn't. I didn't think about how do you manage money. That wasn't a
Mhm.
conversation I thought about.
Why?
I don't even know. I don't even know why I didn't think about that. I didn't think about the fact that he's telling me that his wife messed up his finances wasn't really the truth. I didn't even question it.
You just thought the woman was wrong.
I guess, yeah.
We do that
Yeah.
because of how they present and what we get, and of course, we see and understand, know better than anything, because our relationship is different.
We are special.
Because the thing between my legs is better than any other.
Anybody else's.
Ain't
Can't be
nobody
the
got
way.
it like I got it. That's a
No.
bullcorn. That's a lie from that's one lie. That's a lie from the pit of hell.
Tell ourselves, but it
That's
ain't
what we tell
true.
it. It's not. And we're taught at a very young age that that is the prize. Not to say it isn't the prize, but we're taught that that is the prize, which is why we use it as a bartering tool.
That's interesting.
Mhm. They don't do right, we withhold. They do right, we shower them with love, physical love, right? Um, and they're taught, the male species is taught to conquest, to get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
The
we're the
chase.
prize. They're taught to chase it to get it, and then once they get it, like, see, that's in my belt. And so I
Mhm.
think that dynamic is something else we have to look at. And I think and I've been saying this for years, we have to see the male and the female, the feminine and the masculine has to be taught that they are the prize. Period. And so
Right.
because
Right.
they both honor themselves, and when they come to the table, they come to the table as people who honor themselves and come together in honor, not in this cat and mouse chase.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So, well, Roz, I'm going to ask you as we're getting ready to get out of here. We've been talking. Unless you have something else you want to say.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
I think we had a good little conversation here. It was a good little
Yeah.
dialogue. Some gems were definitely dropped. Um, my question to you would be: how do you know now that you have let it go and that you're living? How do you know today that you are living your best life?
Um, I don't know that it's my best life, but I know I'm striving to be content with my life because I have a good life. You know, I I'm appreciative of the life I have. There's I have one child and my mom is still living. I'm appreciative of the fact that I can go see her. Um, I don't know. I don't know that I should be looking for the best life. Like what does that look like? What does it look like? Am I going to get a whole lot of money? Like what do those things look like? I'm pretty content with my life the way it is. I'm working on doing the things I need to do for myself. I'm doing those things. And I may not have always been looking at those things. I waited till I was 63 to start looking at that, but I'm doing it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't matter when you do it, as long as you do it. I think we get to define. I'm really into understanding that I get to define what my best life is.
Absolutely.
I get to define what
And not
success
the
is for me,
world, because I may
and
have
not.
looked at the world defining parts. It's real easy. We live in California. It's real easy to look at other people out there and defining how do I get to that?
Especially on social media, because everybody living this golden life and got it going on and flying across the country and living in
their
the best of
best
the best,
life.
living their best life. I ain't mad at them. I'm not mad at them. I'm not saying they are or not, but I also know there's a lot of filtering going on. There's a
Right, right.
lot of
And
editing
editing
going
and
on.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
to give you that
There's a whole
view.
lot of
Uh,
editing.
yes, a whole lot of editing, and I think so we get to chase. I'm in that space of chasing me. And when I say that, and then so my Christian brothers and sisters will say, you need to chase God. And what I say to that is this: it's impossible for me to love me and not love God. It's impossible for
Yeah.
me to chase me and not chase God. I don't
Yes.
see God as out there somewhere trying to get to me. right?
Yes.
God is in
Yes.
me.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
Yeah, in me. And I
Yeah.
am the very essence of God in the earth. Now, I
Yeah.
don't always remember that. I get caught up sometime and I forget. And so then I have to pause and take my breaths. And I'm getting
Yeah.
to even a newness in that where I'm not just pausing. I wrote a piece today about weeds. You know how weeds grow up in our soul. You know, when you look at a yard, sometimes you don't always see you, especially when it's mixed in with the grass, right? It looks like,
Right.
oh wow, that's just pretty. And then when you get up on it, it's like that's a lot of weeds in that grass, right?
Right. Right.
And you can't just pull them up because they keep growing, they keep coming
Mhm.
back. You have to dig it up and dig it out. And I'm learning that's the same thing with our soul, the soil of our mind, the soil of our heart. You know what
Yes.
I mean? What we
Yes.
see, what we hear, we got to dig a lot of junk out that is, we've been conditioned to believe as truth. And it
Yeah.
has run our life into sickness, into poverty, into unhappiness, suicide,
Yes.
just all that madness because there's a lot of weeds that look like grass.
Hmm.
And we're not taking the time to dig that stuff up and out. And because we've been so conditioned not to question, not to challenge, um, it's really killing us. And I feel a freedom right now, Roz. I feel a freedom like I haven't felt in a very. It actually brings a certain amount of emotions
That's
because I feel
good.
a freedom like,
Yeah.
you know, we are in prime time. You and I and anybody listening that takes the time to listen to this, you are in prime time to live your
Yes.
best life, whatever you
Absolutely.
choose that to be.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
are.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you taking time out tonight. I know you ready to go, so you can go to bed and get your rest for the day.
I got up at
But
4 o'clock this morning.
oh
Yeah. I've been up for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah. I've been up. I didn't get up at 4 this morning, but I was up at 5:30. I got up at 5:30, but I was up pretty late last night too. Anyway, thank you guys. Like I was saying to you guys, I want to thank you. Thank you, Rosalind, for joining in. Come back and see us again.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Good night. And everybody, listen, I want you to know that you are in the prime of your life. There's nothing missing, nothing broke about what's going on. You are in the opportunity to be the very best of the best of what God has created you to be in this hour, in this time. Don't take it for granted. It is your season. Um, Divorce, yeah, and so what? It happens. It's how we look at it, how we choose to envision it. Doesn't mean everything is perfect, feels good, going the way we thought, expected. No, but it does mean that in this moment, this second, right now, I get to choose to be present with now and to look forward to what's ahead. God bless, and we'll see you next time. And by all means, don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Peace and blessings. Thank you for the good vibes and for joining in the conversation tonight on Marriage Gone Divorce. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next time.